season.
And the holiday season means many things to many people, but a whole lot of presents to many. And I'm sure many of you have exhausted yourself by buying gifts for friends and loved ones. But what good is that perfect present without the perfect wrapping? We're going to help you with your presentation.
Jenny Acerno and Angie Colombo, owners of Wrap Artists, a home wrapping service, are here to show us just how to wrap and jazz up your gifts. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
I was reading an article this morning in the paper saying that people are spending enormous amounts of money on wrapping paper.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, things sure have changed. It used to be Scotch tape and anything you could get it on the package the night before the holiday. But we wanted to elevate that, and we saw there was no alternative to standing in lines at the shopping centers. And we come to people's homes or businesses. We wrap their gifts, and as you can see, we've got some elegant wraps, some really whimsical, fun wraps, Hanukkah. Papers that are just beautiful, and then we just really took it up a notch.
What is something you can do to kick it up a notch? I feel like
but simple things too. You got to remember. If I don't have time to call you to come to the house, what are some simple ways?
Well,
go ahead.
Shall I go? One of the best ways to really make a package look beautiful and elegant is to use fancy satin, organza, ribbons, as you can see.
How much that cost though?
Well, how much does it cost? Just a couple of dollars, really.
Right.
And where do you get that kind of ribbon? Is that a craft store kind of thing, or because I'm not going to find that at the pharmacy?
Absolutely. Go
and floral stores too.
Floral stores, craft stores. Okay. Also, start with a high-end paper. That's always nice. Something with a little sparkle in it.
Feels like cloth. It looks like cloth, and it's got all the.
It has a little texture to it,
That's
and it
really
has
beautiful.
Silver stars. So
gorgeous.
Okay. On this one, we put a little embellishment with some beaded, candied-looking fruit. We got the craft store as well.
So you really should approach it like an arts and crafts project, not just throwing some paper on a box.
Right. That's the idea. Then you want to pay attention to how you fold your creases. As you can see, you can almost not see the crease.
Look at
fold.
that.
Right here.
How do you do that?
I don't even know if we have it. You can't even see that. That's great.
What we do is we fold our, before we fold our crease down, tape that with regular tape. You don't need to use anything fancy on the inside. And then we like to use double-sided tape so that you can't see any tape on the outside of the package here.
Double-sided tape.
And the scrapbook industry has really changed that. There are all kinds of dispensers available. And even the regular brands now have a double-sided dispenser, so they've made it easy.
How do you make double-sided tape work when it's
right? Well, and they've they've made it easy for you.
Right. It'll stick to your finger, but when you put it on the box, it'll come right off.
So I should head to the scrapbooking section of my craft
in any
store.
of your craft stores.
I never know how big to cut my paper. Is there a formula?
That is very important. There's no mathematical formula. You kind of have to just eyeball it.
Okay.
But the thing about cutting your paper the right size is that in the end, when you're actually making the folds, you don't want to have too much extra paper in there because that's going to create bulk on the end here.
Yes.
And it's going to be, not neat looking, and you want your packages to look as neat as possible. So, you just have to eyeball it and cut the paper.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me try one right here on the air. What I do is I fold it over once, and then I go like this, and I go, all right, that's about right. So,
that's what I do. I always end up having too much at the ends, and then I have that weird where it kind of folds back on itself, and you got the white showing with the wrapping, and then you have that and the glue and the glue, and by the time I use a staple gun, forget it, right?
It's a real trick.
Jenny, what's the most difficult thing you've ever had to wrap that someone has asked you to come to their house and take care of?
Well, we actually had a triangle box, and that was pretty difficult, but Angie, who is so talented, as you can see, with the, figuring out the area of a gift, turned it into, she folded it almost like origami. She folded it in the three sides and came up with some green ribbon and ornaments that looked like a little tree. And so she, and even you can see, look at this, this was like, I've done a yoga mat. And you can do both ends and make it like a Christmas cracker, or you can just take the top and, look how charming it is.
Right. Are bags anathema to you? Do you dislike bags? Do you want things wrapped, or are bags?
I'll tell you, one of the most rewarding jobs we did was for a woman with MS in New York City, Janet, and she was just charming to work for. And we realized that not only are we helping people who don't want to stand in line, people with physical disabilities, and her only other option would have been
to use bags,
to put them in shopping bags with tissue, pretty shopping bags, the decorated ones. But because she was able to hire us, we wrapped all of her gifts, and she was just thrilled. She was a wonderful lady.
So to recap, hit the craft stores, hit the floral stores, high-end paper, holiday extras.
Look, you can take this apart. You can find out how things are put together, and they make these great little things, and then this with something else on a package is fabulous.
Yeah.
All right, they're telling us to wrap. I hate to
Go ahead.
say that pun, but it's true.
Jenny Acino and Angie Colombo, owners of the wrap service, thank you so much for showing
Thank
up.
you.
Thanks for having us here.
holidays.
And
Happy
now
holidays to you.
they're going to be social, and we're going to go over to Lori Jennings, who's flying solo today, for a look at what's coming up at 10.
This is cool.
It's in the ribbon. Spend the money on the ribbon and it makes it look great.
exciting.
Well, you two, we have a lot coming up in the next hour with the country on high alert. How are some of the bigger cities taking action? I'll be talking to Miami's Chief of Police, John Timoney, right at the top of the hour. And then the latest in the Michael Jackson case. Our Dan Abrams made it inside his weekend bash. You have to see what he got as parting gifts and what he saw inside Neverland. All that and your latest headlines, of course, right at the top of the hour. We'll look for you both then. And now back over to John and Allison.
Wow, that's,
All right,
I
Dan
just
Abrams
learned-
is going to re-gift that. I have this feeling, that T-shirt, and it will look as pretty as this.
Yeah, we'll know how to wrap it. Yeah. Hey, coming up this morning, some of the headlines from across this great country of ours. And all I want for Christmas is a lottery win. That's not too much to ask. Two of the nation's lotteries are bigger than usual, and that's causing a lottery craze.
You are watching MSNBC.
How do I cut the tape now?